Have you ever noticed it? That slow, wide breath your body takes before you even realize you're getting tired? Maybe you're reading, or brushing your teeth, or just sitting quietly, waiting for the day to end. And then it comes, a yawn. Long, wide, deep. It stretches your mouth and fills your lungs in one smooth sweep. You don't plan it. You don't think about it. It just happens. As if your body knew something your mind hadn't caught up to yet, and maybe it happens again a few minutes later. And again. Not loud, not dramatic, just your body gently nudging you toward rest. But why? Why do we yawn before bed? Why does that deep, involuntary breath appear in the quiet spaces between wake and sleep? That's what we're going to explore tonight. Softly, slowly. Not in a rush to answer, but in a gentle walk through breath, brain, and body. You might think yawning is simple, just a sign that you're tired. But the truth is, yawns are surprisingly mysterious. We don't fully understand them, even now. Scientists have studied them for decades, and still they hold a little wonder, a little secret. And maybe that's part of what makes them beautiful. There's something your body does for you without needing a reason, without needing permission. Before we begin our journey inward, can I ask you something gentle? Where in the world are you listening from tonight? What time is it where you are? Are your lights already low? Is your blanket pulled close? If you feel safe enough, drop a little note in the comments. Let me know the country, the hour, the feeling of this moment for you, and if this soft space makes your breath slow, if it helps your shoulders lower even slightly, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe. This tiny, quiet corner of the world, this sleepy doctor space, only grows through people like you, who believe in stillness, who value peace, who find beauty in things as simple as a breath. Now let's begin. Let's return to that yawn, that wide, slow opening of the mouth, that gentle inhale, that tiny pause, that long, slow exhale. That moment when the world pauses with you. Scientists used to think yawning was just about oxygen, that it was the body's way of filling the lungs when air was low, but we now know that's not quite true. Yawning happens even when oxygen levels are normal, even when breathing is steady. So if it's not just about breath, what is it? Why does your body do it, especially right before sleep? That's the first thread we'll follow. In the next part of our story, we'll look at how yawning helps cool your brain, how it gently lowers your internal temperature to prepare your mind for sleep. But for now, I want you to feel it. That soft tension in your jaw when a yawn begins. That stretch behind your eyes. That moment when your shoulders rise just slightly. That pause. That letting go. That quiet. Let your breath match it now. Let your body feel that rhythm. You don't need to yawn yet. You don't need to do anything. Just know. The yawn will come when it's ready. And when it does, your body will already be listening. Yawning is often mistaken for laziness, a reflex we try to hide in meetings, in conversations, or even in front of people we love, pressing our lips together, stifling the sound, apologizing. But here, in this quiet moment, let's stop holding it back. Let's let the yawn arrive fully, exactly as it was meant to. Because there's something fascinating, almost magical, happening inside that simple breath. Every time you yawn, your body does something deeply intelligent. It helps cool your brain. You heard that right. Yawning isn't just about stretching or pulling in air. It's a natural cooling system for your most important organ. Think of it like this. Your brain, all day long, works hard. It processes thoughts, emotions, memories, decisions, and just like any hard-working machine, it generates heat. Not the kind you feel on your skin, but internal heat, invisible, but real. And your brain doesn't like being too warm. A slight increase in temperature, just a degree or two, can make it harder to think clearly. You might feel foggy, slower, sleepier. And so, like a room opening a window, your body creates a natural fan, the yawn. When you yawn, you open your mouth wide, allowing cool air to rush in. At the same time, the muscles in your face, neck, and even the back of your throat stretch and pull. Blood vessels near the brain shift. Your jaw moves. Your eyes may close gently. This motion increases blood flow to your face and scalp and allows cooler blood to reach the brain. It's subtle. You don't feel it happening. But your brain does. It registers the cooling. It responds with calm. This, researchers believe, is one of the core purposes of yawning, especially in the evening hours, because your body knows that before deep rest can begin, the brain must slow. It must cool. It must be ready to hand the world back to stillness. That's why you may find yourself yawning more when you're overtired, not because you need more oxygen, but because your brain is overheated and overworked. Yawning becomes your body's quiet attempt to settle you, to bring the temperature down, to prepare you for sleep. It's nature's lullaby, and you don't even need to think about it. That's what makes it so perfect. Yawning isn't something you force, it just arrives, like a breeze through an open window, like water finding its level. And it's not only about cooling either. When you yawn, you stretch muscles you didn't know needed to stretch. Your diaphragm lengthens, your lungs expand, your heart rate briefly increases, then slows. Your blood shifts, and all of this together signals the nervous system. The day is ending. Let go. In this way, yawning isn't a single action. It's a cascade, a sequence, a permission slip. It tells your body, you can soften now. That's why it often comes right before a nap, right before turning out the light. Or sometimes during emotional moments, when your brain has been working through memory, stress, or even release. Yawning can happen during grief, or relief, or peace. And in every case, it cools and settles the mind. Some researchers even believe yawning is contagious because of empathy. When you see someone else yawn, especially someone close to you, your brain mirrors their state. Your nervous system picks up on their need for rest. And suddenly, you're yawning too. It's not copying. It's connecting, your body recognizing another's rhythm and syncing with it. And before bed, when you're near someone you love, on a couch, in bed, across the room, the shared yawn is more than physical. It's social, emotional, biological, a kind of unspoken chorus. Let's slow down now, together. So tonight, as you settle into your blanket or your pillow and that next yawn begins to rise in your chest, let it. Let it widen. Let it move through your shoulders, your neck, your spine. Feel the way your eyes soften, the way your breath deepens, the way your body pauses for just a second longer than usual. That's your brain accepting stillness. That's your skin preparing to sleep. That's your breath remembering what it feels like to be unrushed. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore another question. Why does yawning feel good? Why does something so ordinary bring relief, not just physical, but emotional? But before we go there, let this moment be enough. Let the room around you stay dim. Let your fingers rest. Let your breath stay slow. And if a yawn wants to visit again, don't hold it back. Welcome it. Stretch with it. Float inside it. It's not laziness. It's not boredom. It's biology. It's your body keeping you safe, soft, and calm. Because even now, even in the quiet, your body is working to take care of you, and every yawn is its way of saying, I've got this. You can rest now. There's a strange kind of comfort that lives inside a yawn. It isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't pull you into focus like a laugh or a sneeze. Instead, it pulls you away, gently, slowly, from the edges of your day. And as it stretches through your face, your neck, your ribs, you might feel something small but undeniable. It feels good. There's something about a yawn that brings relief. A little uncoiling, a little loosening. But why? Why does something so ordinary, so involuntary, feel like a full-body sigh? Why does it seem to unlock something inside you, even if only for a second? That's what we're exploring now, the quiet pleasure of a yawn. The kind your body craves, even if your mind isn't paying attention. Let's start with the muscles. When you yawn, more than just your mouth moves. A yawn is a stretch, a long, full extension of several parts of your body all at once. Your jaw, your throat, your chest, your lungs, even the tiny muscles around your eyes and temples. These muscles are used constantly throughout the day, talking, eating, blinking, breathing, but rarely do they move this way, all together, all at once, and all with full permission to let go. A yawn invites them to do something different, to reset, to release tension, to stretch in a way they haven't since morning. And the feeling that follows? It's your nervous system responding to that stretch. It feels like comfort, because it is comfort. Tension leaving the body. And then there's the breath. Every yawn pulls in a deep inhale, longer than most of your daily breaths. It fills your lungs with air from the bottom up, expands your ribcage, and slows your heart just slightly as you exhale. This kind of breath is rare in busy moments. We often breathe shallowly, without realizing it. But a yawn is generous. It reminds your body of what a full breath feels like, and that fullness sends a message to your vagus nerve. A long, wandering nerve that connects your brain to your heart, your lungs, and your belly. It says, "We're okay now. You can calm down." That's why yawns often come when you're finally sitting down, lying back, or releasing a long-held worry. They mark the shift between effort and ease. Yawns also help regulate pressure. The inner ear, the jaw, the sinuses, all of these adjust subtly during a yawn. It can pop your ears, clear a blockage, or simply balance the internal air between your head and body. That sense of lightness or clarity you sometimes feel after a yawn, that's part of it. It's your body finding equilibrium, creating space. And when the body finds balance, the nervous system follows. It feels safe enough to drop its guard. But the pleasure of yawning isn't just mechanical, it's emotional too. Think of the moments when yawns feel the best, after a long day, at the end of a good cry, in the quiet of a shared silence. In each of those moments, your emotions are shifting, from intensity to softness, from energy to stillness. And your body, without asking for permission, responds. It gives you a way to physically process what your heart is already doing. To let the feeling move through you and out again. That's why a yawn can sometimes feel like relief, like closure, like your body saying, "We're done now," not in a final way, in a freeing way. There's even a theory that yawning acts like a body language cue, a non-verbal way of showing others, "I'm not a threat, I'm winding down." In social animals, this kind of gesture helps build trust. It signals vulnerability, safety, softness. So when you yawn before bed, or around people you love, or while curled up under a blanket, your body may be doing more than preparing for sleep. It may be preparing to let others in, to show that you've entered a state of peace, that your guard is lowering, that your body feels safe enough to be tired. And safety, true, deep internal safety, feels good, especially in a world that moves fast, a world that often asks us to be alert, efficient, strong, a world that doesn't always leave room for yawning. But here, in this moment, it does. You do. Your body does. So if a yawn rises now, let it come. Let it stretch through your cheeks, your eyes, your chest. Let your hands open. Let your toes go still. Feel what it leaves behind. That loose feeling, that lightness, that moment of pause, that tiny smile in your nervous system. It's not laziness. It's not boredom. It's restoration. It's softness. It's sleep slowly walking toward you. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore why yawns are contagious, how your body picks up on the rhythm of others, even without words. But for now, if your room is dim, if your shoulders are low, if your eyes are heavy, let the next yawn be yours. Let it be wide. Let it be slow. Let it be good. There's something wonderfully strange about it. You watch someone across the room stretch their mouth into a yawn, their shoulders lift, their eyes close softly for a breath, and before you know it, your own mouth begins to open. You yawn too, not because you're tired, not because you needed air, but because something about that moment, about watching them, moved through your body too. This is the quiet mystery of contagious yawning. And tonight, in the stillness of this story, we're going to explore it, not to solve it entirely, even science hasn't done that, but to walk with it, to gently unwrap what we know, to feel what it means, and to appreciate the soft, unseen ways our bodies connect to each other. Contagious yawning has fascinated scientists for years. Not all animals do it. In fact, not even all humans do it, especially very young infants or individuals with certain neurological differences. But most of us, we catch yawns like ripples. We see someone stretch and our mirror neurons begin to fire. These mirror neurons, located in specific parts of your brain, are the same ones that help you feel someone else's joy when they smile or their sadness when they frown. They help you relate, mimic, empathize. They say, I see what you're doing, and I feel it too. And when those neurons pick up on a yawn, the slow mouth movement, the eye blink, the shift in breath, they gently suggest, maybe I should do that too. And then you do. What's fascinating is that we're more likely to catch a yawn from someone we feel connected to. A friend, a parent, a pet, even. Studies show that empathy plays a role, that our nervous systems are more likely to echo people we trust, people we feel safe around, people we care about. That means a yawn is more than a reflex. It's a mirror, a quiet form of communication, a physical way to say, we're entering rest now, together. Think of animals in the wild, a group of lions lying in the grass. One yawns, then another, then another. They're not copying for fun. They're syncing their energy, aligning their rhythms, preparing for a shared state of calm. And we, humans, do something similar. In classrooms, in living rooms, in bedrooms at night. One person's stillness can become a shared pause, and in a strange, beautiful way, that might be what's happening here, right now. As you listen to this voice, to these words, and feel your breath slow, maybe at some point you yawned. Maybe not because you're tired, but because your body is picking up on the rhythm of this story, of this rest. Maybe my calm became your calm. Maybe your nervous system mirrored mine. And if that happened, isn't that kind of magic? Yawning reminds us that we are not alone in our bodies, that we are constantly picking up on signals, not just with our eyes or ears, but with our breath, our posture, our skin. We feel each other, not in loud ways, but in slow, soft ones. And when you begin to wind down at the end of the day, surrounded by others, your body listens to theirs. If someone else is yawning, your body takes it as a cue, as if to say, oh, we're resting now, I'll join you. And this joining, this shared slowing, is part of what makes rest feel safe. We don't yawn in danger. We don't stretch wide when we're on alert. Yawning happens in safety, in trust, in comfort. And when others join us in that yawn, it tells our brain, they're safe too. That quiet echo is more than mimicry. It's a signal of shared peace. There's something very human about this, something deeply emotional. When you watch a loved one yawn beside you and you feel your body follow, it's not just biology, it's connection. A sleepy nod, a shared message. We're done for today. And if you've ever yawned while holding someone's hand, or while petting your dog, or while listening to someone speak softly, you know that feeling, that sleepy surrender, that letting go together. That's what contagious yawning really is, a gentle sync between bodies, a whispered reminder that rest is not something you do alone. So tonight, if you yawn again, and I hope you do, maybe picture someone else beside you, someone you love, someone who would smile if they saw your shoulders lift and your mouth open wide. Maybe imagine their yawn rising after yours, not because you made them, but because your calm invited theirs, because your stillness was safe enough to be shared. In the next part of our story, we'll explore what happens when yawns don't come, what it means when the body holds back from rest, and how we can gently invite it to return. But for now, if you feel a ripple in your cheeks, a widening in your jaw, a breath coming on that stretches your lungs a little longer than usual, let it. Let the yawn come. Let it be yours. Or let it be borrowed from someone you've never met, someone you're simply breathing with in this moment, through these words. Because yawns are not just physical, they are emotional, and sometimes even spiritual. A moment when your body says, I feel you, I hear you, I'll slow down with you. Sometimes you wait for a yawn that doesn't come. You can feel the edge of it, like a wave out at sea, but it never quite reaches the shore. You open your mouth a little, stretch your jaw, even hold your breath for a second, but nothing happens. No release, no stretch. Just a strange, unfinished feeling sitting quietly in your chest. It can be frustrating, can't it? Especially when you're tired, especially when your body feels heavy and your thoughts feel far away. You just want that soft ripple, that warm breath that resets everything. But your body holds back. Why? In moments like this, it's easy to think something's wrong. But I want to tell you gently, it's not. Your body isn't broken. It's just protecting you. Sometimes, when we're overstimulated, when the brain is busy, when thoughts are spinning, when emotions are tightly held, the nervous system doesn't fully trust that it's safe to let go. And yawning, for all its softness, is an act of letting go. It requires stillness, safety, slowness. It needs your shoulders to lower, your jaw to relax, your thoughts to soften. If those things haven't happened yet, even if you're lying down, even if you're quiet, your body might still be holding. Just a little. Just enough to pause the yawn before it begins. This is more common than you might think. It's why some people find it hard to yawn after a long, stressful day, even if they're exhausted. The tension in their chest hasn't quite cleared. The breath is shallow, the neck is stiff, the brain is still scanning. It's also why people struggling with anxiety sometimes feel the urge to yawn constantly, but can't quite finish one. The reflex tries to rise, but the body doesn't complete it. It's not malfunctioning. It's it's hesitating. And that hesitation is a form of protection. Your nervous system is saying, I'm not ready to drop my guard. But here's the comforting truth. That hesitation doesn't last. The body wants to yawn. It's built to. The reflex is ancient and deeply wired. All it needs is a signal of safety, and you can offer that, not with force, not by trying harder, but by softening inward, by slowing the breath, by loosening the jaw, by dimming the lights, by releasing the weight from your spine, by reminding your nervous system there's no need to watch the door anymore. You're home now. Yawns often return when we stop chasing them, when we stop waiting for them, when we shift our attention away from the trying and toward the trusting. That's the secret. You can't force a yawn, but you can invite it. You can make space for it. You can offer your body the softness it's been waiting for all day. And sometimes that starts with a breath, a real one, a breath that begins at the belly, that widens the ribs, that rises without effort and falls without instruction. If you're lying down now or sitting somewhere quiet, try this with me. Gently unclench your jaw. Let your lips part just slightly. Drop your shoulders. Notice your breath. Is it short? Is it tight? Let it lengthen. Just a little. Let it fall out of you like mist. No pushing, no pulling, just air moving through a body that finally feels permission to slow. Maybe nothing happens at first. That's okay, that's still a win. Because yawns don't always come on the first exhale. Sometimes they come after your 10th or your 20th. Sometimes they arrive just as your thoughts begin to blur, just as your arms forget to move, just as your eyes begin to close. And when they do, you'll feel it. That stretch, that ripple, that quiet inward yes from your body. There's a kind of grace in delayed yawning. It reminds us how long we've held ourselves upright, how long we've been braced, how long we've been trying to be strong. And when that wall finally softens, when the yawn finally flows through, it's not just breath, it's release, it's surrender. It's the nervous system whispering, I trust this moment now. So if you've been waiting for a yawn that hasn't arrived, don't worry, it will. Maybe not in this minute, maybe not in this story, but soon. And when it comes, it will carry all the weight you didn't realize you were holding, all the tension you thought you had hidden, all the tiredness you didn't speak out loud. And it will say, with softness, you've done enough. It's safe to rest. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the relationship between yawning and dreaming, how the two meet at the edge of consciousness, and why a yawn might be your body's first step into the dream world. But for now, let this be enough. No expectations, no pressure. Just breathe, just body, just the space to let something small and quiet rise when it's ready. Your yawn will come. Just give it time, and give yourself the softness it needs to arrive. Somewhere between waking and sleeping, there is a soft, in-between space, a place where the thoughts begin to slow but haven't yet dissolved, where the body is still aware of the room but no longer holding itself up, where the edges of the day blur like watercolor in water. And right at that threshold, that exact moment when you begin to drift, the yawn often appears, not just once, but again and again, as if your body is walking you gently to the door of dreaming, holding your hand without speaking. Yawning is a signal, not a loud one, but a deeply important one. A message from your nervous system that says, we're crossing over now. This is the quiet link between yawning and dreams. Yawning doesn't cause dreams. It doesn't create sleep. But it prepares you for it. It marks the shift in your brain's state, from alertness to rest, from thinking to floating, from sharp to soft. When you yawn before bed, you're not just pulling in air, you're pulling away from the world, gently, gradually, deliberately. The stretch of the jaw, the pull through the lungs, the pause at the peak. They all signal to your body. The work of the day is over. The quiet begins now. Scientists believe yawning is closely tied to what's called the transition phase, the lightest edge of sleep just before you slip into stage 1. During this time, brain waves begin to slow. Your alpha waves, associated with relaxation, begin to dominate. Your heartbeat softens, your eyelids grow heavier, and your sense of time becomes less linear. Yawning often increases here because the body is aligning all its systems. It's cooling the brain, yes. It's stretching the muscles, yes. But it's also calming the sensory world, quieting the chatter, closing the windows, dimming the lights inside you. It's the body's way of saying, we're about to go somewhere else. Let me get us ready. And what a place that is, the land of dreams. You may not always remember them. You may not always know when they begin, but every night your body takes you there, softly, mysteriously. And yawning is one of the first steps into that world. Think about the last time you fell asleep slowly. Maybe you were on the couch or in bed listening to rain, or resting your eyes during a long afternoon. You probably yawned without noticing. One yawn, then two. Then maybe your limbs grew heavy. Maybe you forgot what time it was. Maybe the room faded. That's not just coincidence. That's biology. That's your brain preparing to surrender control, to step out of conscious thought and into imagination. Even in animals, we see the same pattern. Cats yawn before curling into a ball. Dogs yawn before settling down. Their bodies know, long before their eyes close, that sleep is coming, that release is needed, that silence is safe, and so they stretch their mouths wide, they sigh, they let go, and we do too. There's a theory that yawning also helps synchronize the two hemispheres of the brain, that by engaging both physical and cognitive responses at once, the brain finds balance before entering a vulnerable state like sleep. Yawning might be part of how we steady ourselves before letting go, a final grounding before the dream begins. And that's what makes it so sacred, so overlooked, yet sacred. Yawning is the moment the body meets the unknown, with trust, with rhythm, with breath. It doesn't question what comes next. It simply prepares. It stretches open the gates. It cools the fire of the mind. It slows the pulse of awareness. And in that stillness, the first threads of dreaming begin to form. So if you find yourself yawning now, over and over, don't try to stop it. Let it come. Let each one carry you further from the day and closer to the soft world waiting behind your eyes. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to explain it. You only need to follow. And if a dream finds you tonight, know that your body led you there, that your nervous system walked you toward it, that every stretch, every pause, every breath was part of the journey inward. In the next part of our story, we'll explore how yawns are connected to emotion, why they sometimes arrive during grief, relief, or love. But for now, if your eyelids are drifting, let them drift. If your jaw feels warm, let it hang loose. If the yawn wants to come again, for the third, the fifth, the seventh time, let it. This is your passage, your permission, your threshold. You're standing at the doorway of dreaming, and yawning is the key that gently turns the lock. Sometimes a yawn doesn't come because you're sleepy. Sometimes it arrives in the middle of a feeling. Not a quiet, sleepy drift, but a moment of emotion, a wave of grief, a stretch of relief, a heavy exhale after holding too much for too long. You might be sitting alone, eyes blurry, and suddenly a deep yawn opens your chest. Or you're hugging someone you haven't seen in a long time, and just after the tears, the yawn comes. It feels strange, doesn't it? Unexpected, but also right. Familiar. As if your body was saying something before your mind could catch up. That's enough now. You can rest. This is the secret world of emotional yawns, the ones that rise not from tiredness, but from something deeper. It turns out the body doesn't separate emotional and physical signals the way we think it does. The same nervous system that governs breathing and digestion also listens to fear, to sadness, to comfort. And when you experience strong emotion, especially emotion that has been suppressed or held quietly in the body, your nervous system looks for a release valve, a way to shift, to soften, to reset. And one of its most elegant tools is the yawn. Yawning is a parasympathetic reflex, meaning it's tied to the part of your nervous system that helps you calm down. It's like a hand gently pressing the brakes after your emotions have flooded the engine. During intense feelings, especially sadness, your breathing becomes tight, shallow. The body braces, the shoulders rise, the stomach contracts. But when the crying slows, when the wave of sadness passes, the body releases, and often the yawn rises from that release, like a ribbon uncoiling, like a breath that finally says, "We're done holding now." You may also notice yawns appearing after big moments of relief, after a test, after hearing good news, after a long day of tension that finally ends. These yawns aren't lazy. They're ceremonial, a closing of the chapter, a transition from one state into another. Your nervous system uses them as soft punctuation, a message to say, "We're safe now. You can drop your guard." And the beauty of it is, you don't even have to try. The body does it for you. Some people even yawn during moments of intimacy, in quiet, loving conversations, during a long hug, after laughing until they cry. That's not rudeness. It's not boredom. It's safety. It's the body saying, "I trust this space enough to let go." And so it yawns, a deep, open, full-bodied signal of surrender. What's most fascinating is that these emotional yawns don't just happen when the feelings are big, they also happen when the feelings are finally allowed. Maybe you haven't cried in days, but a song triggers something. Maybe you've held stress all week, and the silence of a night alone lets it surface. And then, the yawn comes. Not from sleep, from feeling. From the body finally having room to exhale everything it never said out loud. If this has ever happened to you, if you've yawned in moments that surprised you, I want you to know it wasn't random. It was beautiful. It was your nervous system doing exactly what it's meant to do, helping you shift, helping you release, helping you recover. That yawn in that moment may have done more for your healing than words ever could. In this way, yawns are small acts of grace. They come when logic has gone quiet, when the mind can't process anymore, when the only thing left is breath and letting go. That's why they often feel so real, so good, so honest. They don't ask for permission. They just arrive, and in their arrival, they carry the weight of everything unspoken. So if you find yourself yawning tonight, not because you're tired, but because something inside you is finally softening, welcome it. Don't question it. Let it stretch you. Let it empty you. Let it soothe the places that ache without making a sound. Your body knows what to do. It always has. In the next part of our story, we'll explore how yawns connect to the breath, how this slow inhale and exhale pattern resets your entire system for sleep. But for now, if a memory is lingering, or your chest feels heavy, or your eyes feel full, let it be. Let the emotion pass through. Let the breath come back. And if it brings a yawn, even just one, let that be enough. That's your body saying, "You did well today. Now, let's rest." When your body yawns, it's not just stretching your jaw or pulling in air. It's pressing a quiet reset button. One you didn't have to find, one you didn't have to push. It just happens, all on its own. And what it resets, more than anything else, is your breath. That soft inhale you weren't paying attention to. That shallow chest breath you've been using all day. That sigh you didn't know you needed. Yawning brings it all back into rhythm, slowly, gently, without demand. Because before the body can truly rest, the breath has to remember how to move without effort. Let's start with what really happens inside a single yawn. You take in a deep, wide breath, bigger than your usual ones. It stretches your lungs in all directions, drawing air deeper than most automatic inhales reach. Your ribs lift. Your diaphragm pulls downward, and the very base of your lungs, the areas that often don't expand during normal breathing, are invited to open. You might even hear a slight pop or feel a small shift as new air reaches places it hasn't touched all day. Then comes the exhale. Long, software, quiet. It falls out of you like a wave pulling back from the shore, and in that moment, something resets. The breath is your anchor. It's the first thing you do when you're born, and the last thing you'll do when this life is done. It carries you through every hour without asking for praise, and yet we so often forget it's there. We hold it during stress, we shorten it during work, we override it when we're anxious, but the body never forgets. It waits, and sometimes at the end of a long day, it gently takes over. It gives you a yawn, and that yawn gives you back your breath. There's more. When you take that deep yawn breath, your heart rate subtly changes. It slows just slightly during the long exhale. Your vagus nerve, that long winding nerve that connects your brain to your lungs, heart, and stomach, sends a signal upward. We're okay, we're slowing down now. And your whole nervous system listens. Blood pressure softens, muscle tone eases, digestive rhythm returns. It's not dramatic, it's not instant, but it's meaningful. It's a shift from tension to softness, from holding to releasing, from being awake to being ready. Yawning also gently massages the tissues around your lungs and throat. It stretches the intercostal muscles, those little bands between your ribs, and expands the upper chest. For people who spend most of the day sitting, speaking, typing, this kind of stretch rarely happens, and so a yawn becomes more than a reflex. It becomes a correction, a small daily form of therapy, a reminder of how your body was meant to move. And perhaps most importantly, yawning brings awareness. For just a second, maybe two, you become aware of your breath again. You notice the air, the movement, the stillness that follows. In a busy world, that pause is a gift. One your body gives without asking anything in return. You may have noticed that yawns often come in clusters. One, then another, then another. That's no accident. Once your body remembers how good it feels to breathe deeply, it wants more. It wants to keep softening, to keep unwinding, to keep preparing for the deep breath work of sleep. Because during sleep, especially during non-REM stages, your breath slows dramatically. Your nervous system enters its most restorative mode. And yawning is like the gentle bridge that carries you from one rhythm into another. Think of your breath like a pendulum. During the day it swings fast, tight, uneven. But as you wind down, as the yawns begin, the swing slows. It widens, it softens, and eventually it reaches that dreamy sway where everything feels far away, but safe. Yawning doesn't do all the work, but it begins the process. It lowers the anchor. It sets the pace. So tonight, if you find yourself yawning again and again, even before you're fully tired, trust it. Let it come. Let it stretch through you. Let it carry your awareness gently down into your belly, into your ribs, into the quiet spaces where your breath lives without you noticing. And if it pauses there, between inhale and exhale, don't rush it. That pause is part of the gift. It's the body saying, stay here. You don't have to move anymore. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore how your body protects yawning during sleep and why this reflex, so simple and powerful, disappears once dreaming begins. But for now, just stay with your breath. No need to shape it, no need to fix it. Just feel it. Let the next yawn arrive if it wants to. Let the next breath fall a little slower. You are not trying to sleep. You are not trying to calm down. You're just letting the body do what it knows how to do. And that knowing begins with breath. It's a question most people never think to ask, even though the answer is nestled gently in their everyday experience. If yawning is such a powerful signal that you're getting sleepy, then why don't you yawn while you're asleep? Why does the body, so full of reflexes, rhythms, and rest, suddenly fall silent when dreaming begins? You yawn before bed, sometimes many times. But once you cross that invisible line into sleep, the yawns vanish. The jaw no longer stretches wide. The breath no longer swells with that familiar rhythm. And in its place, there is something quieter, something deeper, something slower. Tonight, let's gently explore why. To understand it, we must first remember what yawning is, a transitional reflex. It's not meant to last forever. It's meant to prepare the body, not carry it through. It belongs to the borderlands, that soft edge between wakefulness and sleep, the shoreline where the waves slow down before they disappear entirely. Yawning appears most often when we are still awake, but just beginning to drift. When the brain is still listening, still alert, still aware of the room. In those moments, yawning serves a purpose: to stretch the breath, cool the brain, sync the heart, reset the rhythm. But once the body slips fully into sleep, once the brain enters its slower wave patterns and awareness dims, that purpose fades. The body no longer needs yawning, it's already where it was trying to go. You see, yawning is managed by your reticular activating system, a part of the brainstem that governs arousal, attention, and transitions between consciousness and unconsciousness. When this system is active, yawning is more likely. But when you fall asleep, the reticular system quiets, like a light slowly dimming, like a crowd slowly leaving a theater. The reflexes it controlled, including yawning, go still. Not because something is wrong, but because they're no longer needed. The play is over, the curtain is down, and silence is the new rhythm. Even your muscles join this soft retreat. During sleep, especially in REM stages, your body becomes atonic, which means your muscles lose their tone. This is protective. It prevents you from acting out dreams. But it also makes large, coordinated movements like yawning impossible. The stretch of the jaw, the expansion of the ribs, the lift of the shoulders, all of these would require more muscular control than the sleeping body allows. So the body rests, fully, deeply, uninterrupted by reflex. There's also the matter of awareness. Yawning, while automatic, is still often triggered by noticing. You feel tired. You see someone yawn. You think about rest. These subtle cues are all tied to consciousness. And when consciousness goes offline, when your thoughts stop tracking time, space, or your own posture, the cues disappear too. You're not seeing someone else yawn in your dreams. You're not thinking about being tired. You're just drifting, floating, processing, healing. And in that place, the body has no reason to yawn. It's already let go. Some people wonder if they might be yawning in their sleep without realizing it. The answer is probably not. While small twitches and movements are common during certain phases of sleep, full yawns, with all their coordinated motion, almost never occur. You may shift, you may sigh, you may breathe deeply. But yawning waits for your return. It stays on the waking side of the doorway, and that's part of what makes it so meaningful. Because when yawning reappears, in the morning or after a nap, it tells you that you've crossed back over, that the mind has come back online, that your breath is waking up, that your awareness has returned slowly and safely, like the sun behind your eyelids. Morning yawns are some of the most delicious, not because they mean you're still tired, but because they mean the systems are rebooting. The brain is warming up, the muscles are stretching out, and your body quietly is saying, "Welcome back." So tonight, as your yawns begin to fade, as the last few open-mouthed stretches ripple through your chest, know that this is a threshold, a ceremony, a handoff. You're entering a place where effort is not needed, where the breath will continue without you watching, where the heart will beat without your permission, where your muscles will sleep beside you. and where yawning, its work complete, will gently wait until you return. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore how light and sound affect yawning, how your environment shapes the way your body signals sleep. But for now, if the yawns are growing less frequent, if your limbs are heavier, if your thoughts are softer, let them be. Let the body stop doing. Let the reflexes rest. Let your breath continue quietly, with no need to stretch or open. You've arrived. You don't need to yawn anymore. You're already there. Yawns don't begin in the body alone. They are shaped by the space around you, by the light that filters through your room, by the sounds that hum softly in the background. Your environment speaks to your nervous system long before you realize it. It whispers, "You're safe now," or "The day is still going." And your body listens, quietly, constantly, especially when it's time to rest, especially when the day begins to close. That's why, sometimes, you can feel a yawn coming the moment you dim the lights, or the moment you turn on a soft song, or step into a warm, quiet room. The body doesn't wait for the clock. It waits for signals. And light and sound are two of the most powerful. Let's start with light. Your brain contains a tiny clock, a cluster of neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. It sits just above your eyes, and it watches the light around you, not with sight, but with sensation. When it senses bright light, especially blue light from screens or overhead bulbs, it sends a message: stay alert, stay awake. But when the light fades, when it turns golden or dim or disappears entirely, it begins to shift. It tells your pineal gland to release melatonin, the hormone that prepares your body for sleep. And when melatonin rises, yawning follows. Not because melatonin causes yawns directly, but because it softens the brain. It slows the waves. It sends the first invitation to rest. That's why dimming the lights before bed can feel like a spell. Not a magic one, a biological one. Your eyes notice the change. Your brain listens. Your body begins to slow, and sometimes, even before you feel sleepy, a yawn comes. It's your nervous system echoing the change, your internal rhythm syncing to the rhythm of the room. The same happens with sound. Loud, sharp noises keep the brain alert. Fast rhythms, harsh tones, high volumes, they wake you. They tighten your muscles. They raise your heart rate. But soft sound, slow, low sound, that does the opposite. It grounds you. It lowers your cortisol levels. It reminds your body that there is no threat here, that you can pause, that you can breathe, that you can open. This is why lullabies work, why rain helps people sleep, why soft voices, gentle stories, or a slow melody in a quiet room can bring on yawns in minutes. It's not because they make you tired, it's because they make you safe, and yawning follows safety. Always. Even the sounds you barely notice can shape your yawns. The click of a lamp turning off, the hush of a fan, the soft rustle of fabric as you adjust your blanket. These are signals, soft reminders, background rhythms that tell the body we've arrived at stillness. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need a perfect room. You don't need silence. You don't need candles or playlists or special curtains. You just need a cue. A small shift in your space that says, it's time to soften now. That might be turning off one light, or lowering the volume, or closing one window, or simply lying down, placing your head on the same pillow your body has learned to trust. These cues don't have to be loud. In fact, it's better if they aren't, because your body is always listening, and when it hears those cues, it yawns. There's even a name for this connection: entrainment. It's the process of your body syncing to external rhythms, like how you walk in time with music without trying, or how your heartbeat may slow when you hear a soothing sound, or how your breath might deepen just from stepping into a dim, quiet space. That's entrainment. And it plays a role in yawning too. When your environment slows down, so do you. So if you want to invite more restful yawns, not just random ones, but the deep, peaceful kind, look around your space. Is the light kind to your eyes? Is the sound gentle to your ears? Is there something you can soften, not for perfection, but for peace? And if you're already lying down, already listening to this voice, already breathing a little slower, then you've done it. You've created the space. You've sent the signals. You've told your nervous system, this is a place where I can let go. In the next part of our story, we'll talk about the connection between yawning and body temperature and how the evening coolness helps your brain settle. But for now, take a moment to notice your surroundings. Let your gaze soften. Let the sounds wrap around you like warm air. Let the next breath come with less effort. And if a yawn rises, if your jaw stretches, if your lungs widen, if your eyelids flutter, let it. You don't need to explain it. You've simply answered your environment's invitation. You're allowed to rest here. Your body already knows how. As evening settles in, have you ever noticed how the air feels cooler, not just around you, but within you? Your body responds differently. Your skin feels more open. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts, once sharp and bright, begin to blur softly into the background. And somewhere in that quiet drift, a yawn arrives. Slow, wide, deep. It stretches your face, your throat, your lungs. But beneath all that, behind the breath, beneath the stretch, something else is happening. Your brain is cooling down. Yawning, it turns out, plays a surprising role in temperature regulation, not for your hands or your feet or even your whole body, but for your brain. That delicate thinking organ held within your skull works all day long. It processes emotions, ideas, movement, memory, and just like a hard-working machine, it generates heat. Tiny degrees of warmth that slowly build throughout the day, and as the brain warms, its efficiency changes. Thought becomes foggy, focus becomes harder, sleepiness creeps in. That's where yawning enters, as nature's very own cooling fan. When you yawn, your mouth opens wide and air rushes in. At the same time, your facial muscles contract, especially those near the sinuses, the jaw, and the temples. That movement increases blood flow to the surface of your face and scalp. Cooler blood begins circulating toward the brain. The fresh air you've drawn in helps lower the temperature just slightly. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way you'll feel like a breeze, but enough. Enough for the brain to take a breath to say, ah, now we can rest. And this happens more often in the evening because your core body temperature naturally begins to fall as bedtime approaches. It's part of your circadian rhythm, the daily cycle your body follows between alertness and sleep. As your body cools on the outside, your brain follows suit on the inside. But if the brain is too warm, if it's been overstimulated, if the day's emotions are still buzzing, yawning acts as a gentle helper. It pushes that last bit of heat outward. It smooths the path between alertness and stillness. This is why people often yawn more in cooler environments, or when stepping outside at night, or when lying beneath a fan, or after turning down the lights. The temperature shift tells the brain it's time to soften now. And the yawn becomes a kind of thermal bridge, letting the heat out, letting the calm in. Some scientists even tested this. They found that people yawned more when the air was cool and dry, and less when it was hot and humid. Why? Because cooler air is more effective at reducing brain temperature. It's not about comfort, it's about readiness. Readiness to sleep, readiness to surrender, readiness to slow. And when your brain cools, everything changes. The thoughts you couldn't let go of, they fade. The worry that sat behind your ribs, it loosens. The edges of the day, they soften. You don't have to force it. You don't have to think it into happening. You just let the yawn come. Let it stretch your scalp, your cheeks, your chest. Let the air pass through you like river water. Let your brain say quietly, thank you. That's the hidden magic of yawning. It's not about being lazy. It's not about boredom. It's not even just about being tired. It's about preparing the mind for stillness and cooling it enough to make that stillness safe. So if you're lying in bed right now and the air is cooler than it was an hour ago and the lights are low and the hum of the world has quieted, this is the moment your body has been waiting for. Let the coolness enter your breath. Let the stillness rise beneath your skin. And if a yawn comes, slow, sleepy, silent, let it stay. Let it widen your mouth and your mind. Let it bring the brain back to its quietest rhythm. In the next and final part of our story, we'll thank the yawn for all it's done, for every quiet signal, every breath of transition, every gift of pause. But for now, rest in this. The world is cooler now. Your mind is softer now. And your body, that quiet, brilliant body, is ready. And now we've reached the quiet end of this soft story. A story not about noise or urgency or grand discovery, but about something small, something ordinary, something you've felt thousands of times and maybe never thought to thank. The yawn. That slow stretching breath. That ripple that moves through your chest without warning. That reflex that whispers to your muscles, it's safe to let go now. Tonight, we've explored it from all sides. The breath, the brain, the emotions, the silence that follows. And now, as you lie here, maybe yawning once more as these words settle into the night around you, this final chapter is not for explanation. It's for gratitude. Gratitude for the soft, wordless wisdom of your body. Your body, so often asked to do more, be more, hold more, has always known when to stop, when to soften, when to call you back to yourself. The yawn is proof of that. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't need approval. It just arrives. And in its quiet arrival, it gives so much. It gives your lungs the breath they forgot to take. It gives your mind the pause it didn't know it needed. It gives your nervous system a reason to switch gears. From doing to being. From watching to resting. From waking to sleep. That's what makes it so beautiful. Not because it's rare, but because it's always there. Waiting. Watching. Ready. Ready to help you cross over from the noise of the world into the softness of rest. Ready to hold the edge of your thoughts and walk you to the threshold of dreaming. So now, before the final silence, I invite you to thank your body. Not out loud, not with effort, just with breath. Let it stretch one more time if it wants to. Let your mouth open wide. Let your shoulders rise gently, then fall. Let your eyelids flutter. Let your spine grow heavier. Let the last yawn come, if it comes. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Your body knows what it's doing. It always has. Maybe tonight's yawns helped you drift. Maybe they carried away a little bit of tension, or opened a space for stillness you didn't know you needed. Maybe they simply reminded you, for just a few moments, that you are not a machine. You are not a list. You are not a deadline. You are a living, breathing rhythm. And rhythms are allowed to slow. So if your breath is deep now, if your thoughts are soft, if your limbs are warm and quiet, this is the moment to let go completely. The story is done. The science is resting. There are no more facts to hold, no more questions to answer. Just a soft body, a steady breath, and the gentle memory of all the yawns that led you here. And if you're still listening, still gently awake, I want to thank you. Thank you for giving your attention to something as simple as a yawn. Thank you for slowing down, for breathing, for making space in your day for quiet. And if you found comfort here, if you'd like to help this quiet corner grow, I'd be honored if you subscribed or left a sleepy note in the comments. Tell me where you're listening from, or simply whisper, "I'm here." That's enough. That's everything. because you are here. Still breathing, still softening, still safe. So let the yawn fade now. Let the story fade now. Let the air around you become still. Let the muscles around your mouth forget how to speak. Let the breath settle into a rhythm only your dreams will hear. You've done enough for today. You've arrived. Good night.